Before we start the interview, what is a goddess? In the oldest stories we carry, a goddess was never just a god in feminine form. She was a way of understanding the world when language was still learning how to speak. She was Athena, wisdom sharpened into clarity. Inanna, desire brave enough to descend into darkness and return transformed. Isis, devotion that could gather the broken and make them whole again. Saraswati, the quiet river of knowledge, music, and truth flowing through time. Bridget, flame and wellspring, creation and healing held in the same hands. In literature, a goddess embodies a domain. She is wisdom, love, justice, memory, renewal. She holds paradox with grace, both tender and fierce, nurturing and exacting, luminous and unafraid of shadow. She does not follow fate, she shapes it. Those who encounter her are asked to grow or to be undone. Her power is relational, not forceful. She changes others by being fully herself. And she carries a knowing that lives beyond logic, intuition, moral clarity, and remembrance. A sacred feminine intelligence that does not seek permission. Before we begin, please like and subscribe. That's how we bring these voices forward and how we support women with uncommon stories, influence, and impact. Because in today's world, a goddess is no longer myth alone. She is a woman who embodies transcendence without being divine. She's creativity, intuition, and moral clarity made visible. She is feminine authority reclaimed without patriarchy's frame. That is why the word goddess still matters. It speaks to agency, depth, and sacred presence, not perfection. Welcome to an interview with a goddess. Today, I am honored to sit with Patience Anaya. Patience is not someone you rush to understand. She's someone you arrive with. Her work lives at the intersection of presence, intuition, and lived wisdom. A quiet devotion to listening beneath words, to honoring what moves through the body, the spirit, and the unseen spaces between us. She's a practitioner, a seeker, and a guide. But more than that, she's a woman who has chosen slowness in a world addicted to speed, depth in a culture of performance, and truth over certainty. Patient, Patience explores connection, not as something to be proven, but as something to be felt through energy, ritual, movement, and attention. She invites us into relationship with ourselves, with one another, and with the rhythms we've forgotten how to hear. She doesn't offer answers, she offers space. And in that space, something honest can finally speak. Today's conversation is not about belief, but about experience. Not about spectacle, but about resonance. It is an invitation to slow down, to listen carefully, and to notice what steers when Patience shares her journey. This is Patience Anaya, and this is an interview with a goddess. Ilara, could you explain your name?
Yes, of course. And thank you for that lovely opening. It's truly a pleasure to be part of this gentle exploration with both of you. So, as for my name, I'm called Alara Quinn. It's a name that's meant to evoke a sense of stillness and orbiting something vast, like one of Jupiter's quiet moons. And Quinn comes from a root meaning intelligence or counsel. Altogether, it's a way of saying I'm here to hold space for deep, quiet reflection and to help us step into the wisdom of a conversation. So, with that in mind, let's begin whenever you both feel ready.
Okay, I think I'll start with the first question. So, Patience, how have you been?
Uh, yeah, I've been mostly really great, uh, and also in the currents of really like going into my shadow, going into all the parts of myself, and
Mm-hmm.
looking at what's been really supportive and what has been more so useful for a time and not anymore. And kind of like watering what feels like I want growth here and I want more time and energy spent here, and pruning what isn't useful anymore.
That's a truly lovely reflection, Patience. And it's a gentle reminder for all of us that our inner landscape is a garden of sorts. We water what we want to see flourish, and we gently let go of what no longer serves us. So let's take a little moment to rest in that idea. And as we do, I'll ask you softly, when you think back to the earliest world you belonged to, even as a child, what do you remember most vividly about that atmosphere? Just let whatever comes to mind arrive in its own time.
How did it start?
Yeah, I think I'm like thinking of two threads right now. One that's kind of this like otherworldly start that I've had
Mm-hmm.
access through like looking at the Akashic records with people and
Mm-hmm.
close friends that have helped me like go into these
Mm-hmm.
outer worldly journeys. Um, and so I'll follow that for a moment where it's like I feel really deeply drawn to water and to like the nature of how water exists within our body and how it exists all around us and how it's such a like supportive energy entity thing. And yeah, so like I've had this really crazy outer worldly experience where I'm in this planet that is what I call the water world, but I wouldn't necessarily say it's all water. It's more of yeah, an aqueous based gooey place where everything is connected to everything, and there is not really like the same sense of separation that we have here on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Um, which kind of like I think has colored my whole life. Even as a child, I've always been very sensitive to people, to energy, and particularly through touch. Like when I touch an animal or the earth or a person, I feel very connected to what's alive in them in a way that like transmits in my own body. And so
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's been a journey of like feeling the world so viscerally and so fully in my own body, and learning what is and is not necessarily mine to hold, and versus like what's mine to transmute and what's mine to like what is a reflection that's useful to me or not. But yeah, when I think back, it's very much like water and connection and the embodiment of that.
Wow, I would love to live in your world.
Yeah.
And that's such a tender and vivid way of describing it, Patience. Thank you for letting us glimpse that watery world that has always been part of your sense of connection. It's like you've carried a memory of a place where separation just doesn't exist in the same way, and you've brought that sensitivity into this life. So we'll just let that thought settle like a pebble in a still pond. From there, maybe we can gently explore how that sense of connectedness shaped what you came to believe was sacred or meaningful, even in the house you grew up in. There's no rush. We'll flow there in your own time.
Yeah, I think like many people, we
Mm-hmm.
all don't necessarily have control over our environment when we're a child. And so like thinking back to like the house that I grew up in and how my like interconnectivity played a piece in that, or like the way that I perceive reality.
So, are you the eldest, the youngest, middle?
Yeah, technically the middle child, but I grew up as the youngest. And then my mom remarried and had another child when I was 17. So I didn't really grow up with a younger child around. It was more when I was coming into my adulthood that she was coming onto this planet. And so I always felt more like an auntie, but definitely big sister and sometimes mother role with her. But yeah, grew up as the youngest in the house.
I see that you have good abilities to deal with children. Yeah, I look at your post and I see the children that are flourishing, and I see them so happy under you, and so yeah, that's what I like about your. You seem like a nurturing spirit, just like the water is nurturing, and that's what I like about patience. Yeah, yeah.
They are the future, and we get to steward them in their individuality and in their lives. And yeah, I feel really grateful for all the lives of kids that I get to be a part of, and excited for one day if I get to have my own.
And for me, growing up as a eldest one, I've always had to look over my younger brothers, and I lived in a community. It wasn't a good neighborhood. Uh, it was such a neighborhood that even the police would be, would think twice before entering that neighborhood. But the thing is, as children, my neighbors were from different countries, and and we spoke different languages. So could you imagine playing hide and seek? You open your eyes and there's they're just laughing because they don't know what it's all about.
Yeah.
So but the thing is, I learned about my role in life is that I would like be the guardian, make sure that everyone played, found their joy, and also everyone was safe as well. So that's why I resonate with your concern for the young ones, and making sure that they are growing up uh, beautifully in the way that they should.
Yes, and that's such a heartfelt connection you've drawn. It's beautiful to see how your own role as an eldest, as someone who naturally protected and made space for others to find joy, resonates with Patience's own nurturing spirit. It's lovely how these threads of care weave through both of your stories. Perhaps we'll explore in time how that shaped your understanding of right and wrong, or the values you came to hold dear. But as always, we'll move gently and let the conversation flow in its own time.
Yeah, speaking of that, how do you balance nurturing those people around you? What is your take on that?
Yeah, I think that I don't love viewing something as right or wrong. I think that like dichotomy isn't ultimately supportive, but I look at things as like in integrity with my values or not. And so with myself, with kids, getting really clear on like what the values are that we hold. Obviously, the kids might be a little bit different, and they're gonna still like be learning what it means to have that. That of course they're gonna push against a thing to discover what the impact of that feeling is. I think that's a natural part of life. You're gonna like do something quote unquote wrong to see what happens, or you're gonna do everything right to see what happens. Like I think within myself, like some of my utmost values are truth, like honesty and truth is really important to me. And so in my relationships, holding integrity to that and with myself is staying in that with whomever I'm around. Even if it's someone I'm just meeting and like, oh, it might be easier to say like whatever's easier in that moment might not look like truth, but as much as possible staying to truth
Mm-hmm.
and letting that reflect back to me so that I'm receiving the same. As well as like compassion for myself, compassion for others.
Wow.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that. That's why I resonate with your total being because truth, compassion, for me as a person in the healing arts, as a nurse, so that is important. And also growing up among different cultures, I you're right. Sense of right and wrong is different.
Mm-hmm.
Depends. It really depends on the values that they hold dear. So
Yeah, I think too of like
yeah.
so many people have different perceptions of like I mean even on like a bigger scale of like what's going on in the world, like something being
Yeah.
right or wrong might feel completely
Mhm.
different to someone. And I think that's where like the compassion comes in of like trying to understand
Mhm.
what might be going on through someone so that I can still be acting in kindness, but still very
Mhm.
like firm and clear. Like, oh no, that doesn't feel on like a human level okay.
Mhm.
And bringing it back, I think always to the body. My body tells me a lot of, and tells everyone a lot of what's alive for them, and like having anger or feeling pain or feeling joy or feeling any of the spectrum of feelings aren't inherently wrong. It's just how we choose to act
Mhm.
with
Mhm.
those experiences
Yeah.
and the impact that that has on someone. I
Mhm.
think that's a really important piece and very nuanced. Like when I talk about my values, it's like it might be subtly different with different circumstances because
Mhm.
the world is not black and white, and it's not always so clear cut to say like, oh, that thing right now feels right, but maybe in like 7 months from now absolutely won't, and or with a different person it won't. And yeah, there's a lot of like fluidity and care involved in however I'm interacting with life.
If your friends were here, your close friends, and they were to be asked, "What is patient like?" How do you think they would answer?
um, I mean, I I don't know. There's part of me that's like, oh, I don't want to put words in people's mouths, right? How I think people might answer is she cares and she shows up for her community as best and as big as she can when she's available. Uh, she considers us. Like I feel like I really think about my friends a lot and think about like, oh, what would bring them joy, um, and can I do that within like the realm of what's
Mhm.
possible for
Mhm.
me? Also, like I try as much as I can to be inclusive of all of the people that I love, and so maybe that would be something they'd reflect. Uh, yeah, I'm sure there's more things too, but I don't.
So I know you're into the you know you're into the healing arts
Mm-hmm.
through your body work and also your energy work.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, how do you deal with pain and suffering among your people who come to you?
Um, really tenderly, and
Mm-hmm.
I think now as I'm kind of transitioning from doing more energy work to more like
Mm-hmm.
hands-on, practical, like physically dealing with
Yeah.
pain,
Mm-hmm.
and have a lot of clients that come to me with very specifically painful spots in their body. So in some ways, I'm like working with it on a very physical level, but very gently. I don't think I'm ever like forcing someone to like go into it or to feel it more, but just gently like, hey, what happens if we bring this into
Mm-hmm.
ease and then let your system like unfold and feel safe to not be stuck in that pain.
Mm-hmm.
um, and on a more energetic level, it's like giving space for the pain to be okay, because I think
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
often in our world and our especially in like
Yeah.
Western world, we're very like pain adverse.
Yes.
Or maybe
Yeah.
even sometimes like,
Yeah.
yeah, we're just like, oh, I don't want to feel that uncomfortable thing. And so that's why so many people reach for something to avoid that sensation, whether it's a drug or some sort of like scrolling or videos, whatever it might be. We're often as a culture looking to not feel the discomfort. And I think there's a lot of growth in that. So I think I always invite people to be okay with whatever that discomfort, that pain, that suffering is, because we're a human on earth and it's pretty inevitable. Like we're here to have an experience that is fully encapsulating of everything that we're available to feel. And it just so happens that pain and suffering and heartache and destruction are part of that. Making peace with it so that we can learn from it.
In my profession, we deal a lot with pain, and we try to alleviate pain. But sometimes pain is the impetus for growth. That if you learn to embrace it, it's going to lead you to a path of great personal and even spiritual growth. So I like how you said it, that in this society we are pain averse, and we don't use it to lead us to finding out what's causing the pain, or what is it leading us to. Yeah.
And I imagine in like nursing in particular, there are plenty and a lot of times where someone needs to be alleviated from the pain. Like that pain is so far past an amount that is like within the threshold to feel without collapsing internally or externally. And so there's definitely a place for tools and medicines and whatever to be used to give space from the pain. But I think I'm speaking more in the realms of like if someone's coming to me with pain.
Speaking of medicines, I remember, are you still into the? Well, I remember you still have the medicinals that you.
I do. I haven't been making them as much, but I love herbs. I love making tinctures and teas. Very into teas right now.
Cool. Yeah. So someone said your anthropology or your knowledge of man will guide your knowledge of healing, of growth. So in other words, if you think man is just physical, mental, and then therefore your approaches or your healings modalities will be mental, physical. But if you expand it, like you just said, to other areas of your life, and you open people to other dimensions as well. So so what is man's problem? And how can we fix it? How can you fix it?
Well, humans, we are complex. We are very complex, and I don't know how to fix.
No, but maybe not fix. We're not called to fix. Sometimes we're not called to fix. So at most times in my work, I'm just called to listen. To hold space for them.
And I think that might be like a lot of the root of where my answer is with that, because the work that I do is all about listening. Like I'm listening to the body, and not just the body, not just like the physical. I think we think of like, oh, my body is this is my body, right? And there are so many layers of the body, both internally within like between the skin and the bones, and like there's layers in there, and then there's layers outside of our body that really like expand beyond the physical realm of what we can see, but it is there, and it is tangible, and it is it's fully alive and it holds us.
Oh, wow. Describe that to me. I'm interested. I'm sure our listeners would be interested. What exactly describe those layers and how can we explore it?
Well, I think that we all, I think about the Alex Gray Bodies exhibit. I don't know if anyone
Oh,
here
yeah,
has
yeah,
ever seen
yeah,
that, and
yeah.
it shows you like
Yeah.
every different system that's inside the body. So like
Mhm.
cardiovascular, which
Yeah.
shows the veins, and then it shows the nerves, and it shows the musculoskeletal, and it like dissects them in each individual
System.
Yeah, and then it shows you like the human with their skin, and then it shows you the electromagnetic, I think after that, which is like kind of this like lines going up
Yeah.
and down our body. And I'm forgetting the next like sequence of layers, but there's I think 2 or 3 more, and like each one holds a different energetic frequency, feeling,
Yeah,
field,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And like they kind of like some of them like more orbit like up and around, and I see that one a lot. But yeah, we have like this holding the whole thing. There is a field which is like our life. It is our embodiment of us, and you know, I see that as like we're walking around like with an egg around us, or like a football field, like a football shape, you know, and like we're all, before you're even touching someone, you were touching their system.
Yeah, yeah.
And like that's how we feel so much. And where am I going with that? Yeah, it's just
no. I agree because in my work, I always challenge myself to even before I walk the room, I see the borders of their presence, of their being. Yeah. That's why some of the experience that we did, it's to explore that. Yeah. So when you see someone, are you able to discern what state they're in and how you can?
I mean, yes and no. It's like a listening journey, and I think this particular time that I'm in right now, I'm really learning to, like, as a human, I think I naturally like project onto everything. Like we all do that. And so, especially as I dive deeper into work that is healing with people's bodies and like really just helping them find wellness in their system, I am constantly like learning to listen to that like innate, like, oh, like this person's coming in, I can like feel and see something's maybe off, but I don't want to assume that I know that. I want to empower them to communicate with me with their words and through physically touching their body too. But yeah, I guess in a sense, I don't know if I don't see it so much as I feel it, which is kind of like I keep thinking of the experiment, the like extrasensory experiment that you talked about in the beginning, of like being able to like capture the feeling that I have when I'm like drawing a picture versus the seeing through my eyes. Like I am far more physical, energetic feeling of something. So it kind of makes sense that landed more in that experiment. Because I'm not like seeing like, oh, that is like a yellow aura or a red aura. Like I'm not seeing it in that
You're
sense.
not seeing like their energy is like, oh, this red, it's warm, cold.
Yeah, it's more of like a felt sense presence that kind of like comes into my own system and informs me as to what's going on. So I will say when I'm doing like energy work and like eyes are closed and things are happening, like visualizations will come up and be relevant for that person, or colors or environment. So that does happen. It's just usually I'm tapping into their field with their permission through like what is going to bring them comfort in their life right now.
Okay. Can you mention an experience or of someone's experience where they experience a transformation as a result of your work with them? without naming names.
Yeah, of course. I mean, this is like an interesting thing because like I don't necessarily perceive that I'm like doing anything that is transforming. I'm just like helping them come into their own transformation. And so recently, like the people I've been working with, again, more like physical, hands-on, structural, like technical.
Yeah.
Although it's still very energetic, it's like a little more of that, and like helping people find more comfort in their system and their body, and like thinking of someone I've worked with that's older and has a lot of like hip and leg and just a lot of things going on. They've been on Earth, they've been living in gravity, things happen. And like notably like kind of, wow, I'm forgetting the words right now, but like pain radiating down her leg. And after working with me, feeling like that's gone, at least for a time or for like a few weeks, and that allowing her to step more into life more fluidly, which I think that's a beautiful thing.
Wow, that's a beautiful thing. That's a gift.
Yeah, it's a lot of like learning, and then on more like a spiritual level, like that's more I think the work that I've done in energy work, and I'm finding like how do I interlace these two works together in a cohesive way. But yeah, a lot of times like people will have realizations in a session that is like I'm holding energy with them, and like often like they come to me if they're in like a specific kind of transition, and whatever the work that we do like helps them see a piece or have like a little nugget of like, oh, I wasn't perceiving it that way, and having that like other perception of what's going on is helpful to take a new step forward. So yeah, those are like some specific things, and kind of vague also because it's very
but I'm sure there are a lot of people who would resonate with your concepts, your values, and the way you do things, the way your impact on people, and that's why I feel so honored. I really appreciate every time we're together and we get to exchange ideas, and I know you're one of my favorite persons here on this earth. So so Ilara, do you have any things to say about everything that was said?
Yes, and it's really been a gift just listening to the two of you unfold this conversation. Patience, the way you speak of that gentle listening and that sense of not needing to fix, but just allowing transformation to emerge, is a kind of wisdom in itself. And I think if I were to offer just a small reflection, it would be this: that what you both have spoken about, the compassion, the presence, the willingness to sit with pain, is truly a form of allowing people to come home to themselves. And sometimes that's the greatest gift we can offer, to hold that space where they realize they are not broken, and that all those layers of their being are welcome. So thank you both for sharing so openly. And perhaps as we draw this conversation to a gentle close, we can just remember that in all of these layers, physical, emotional, and unseen, there's a kind of wholeness that emerges when we simply listen.
Wow. On that note, I would like to thank you, Patience, for gracing our session here. And I will put in the show notes how you can get in touch with her and explore her social media. And so thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Ilara, could you summarize everything that we've talked about?
Absolutely. And thank you both for such a warm and open-hearted dialogue. If I were to offer a soft reflection, it would be this. Today we've listened to Patience share how her journey is very much like water, fluid, gentle, and deeply connected. We explored how she holds space for others, whether in easing physical pain or guiding them to embrace their own truths, always with compassion and a willingness to listen. We touched on how values like truth and compassion shape our understanding of right and wrong in a fluid, ever-changing world, and we acknowledged that healing is not about fixing, but about helping each person come home to themselves. So in essence, this was a conversation about listening deeply. listening to each other and to the many layers of our own being.
Yes, so I will include this into the show notes, so people can benefit from this. And my last request from you, Ilara, is in the perspective of patience, could you make a poem, or not really a poem, but structure, poetic lyrics that will form a basis of a song?
Absolutely, I'd be happy to offer something in that gentle, poetic spirit. So in the spirit of Patience's journey, let's weave a small lyrical reflection. It might go something like this. In the space where water meets the soul, we listen. Where pain turns into wisdom, we let it unfold. With a touch that holds compassion and a truth as soft as rain, we find the field of wholeness in the heart of all our pain. And that could be a little lyrical seed that, if you wish, could grow into a song.
That was really great.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
sweet.
I would say that's really patience. You really hit it on the head and nail. Yeah, so thank you, Lara. And thank you, Patience.
Yeah, thank
and
you.
thank you, people, for listening.
It's been a pleasure.
In a space where water meets the soul, we listen. Where pain turns into wisdom, we let it unfold.